Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio. With me today is Jiunn Liu, Seth Geis, and John McTavish. How you guys doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. It's evening.
I'm just here to drink the haterade.
Yes.
Haterade.
I'm just looking for the next Cuban Cigar Week review.
All right. So today we are talking about the AVO Improvisation LE19. Cigar is a Toro 6x52. Comes out of the Tabadon factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrappers from Ecuador, binders from the Dominican Republic. The filler is from the Dominican Republic and Peru. Price point is $15, and the cigar was released in March of 2019. So with all that out of the way, Jiunn, tell us about your overall thoughts on this cigar.
So I think this is the first time I'm going to talk about and highlight the burn performance in a cigar.
Okay.
Mine was really bad. Canoeing the whole time, wrapper refusing to burn, bunch of touch-ups, a couple of complete relights. So, I mean, I guess I think that does have something to do with this review, but within the actual flavor experience that I got out of it, I thought the first third started out pretty promising. Like, got some nice prominent red pepper spice, espresso beans, some nuttiness, and those are all pretty good flavors in my book. Medium full strength, medium body. But as the cigar kind of went on, it just absolutely turned to shit. Like it's got predominantly spicy. Like all those other notes that I was talking about, like the espresso beans and that nuttiness, all of that was gone. And it was basically just spice. But then that's essentially what it was. It's just basically some fresh spice out of it. It's I don't know, like this is disappointing, I thought. But I guess I'm not really too surprised. I kind of feel like in general, AVO's not been really hitting for me the last couple of years, and it's been more of a average experience than anything. But what about you guys?
How about you, Seth?
Yeah, my experience kind of was the complete opposite of June, but then I realized I smoked the head and I was drawn through the foot. So that explains. No, I actually thought it finished pretty decent. The flavors were, I mean, they're okay. From start to finish. I think it got better as it went along. I didn't have the problem with the burn. There was nothing about the cigar that was really, noteworthy. I just kind of smoked like an average smoking experience. And then when you take into account, and I think John, we can debate this afterwards. I think when you take into account that this is a limited edition cigar, it's not just an everyday cigar. I think there's expectations, and I think that those are reasonable expectations that a limited edition cigar should smoke better. And this cigar just didn't deliver that. So that's my thing. What about you, Surgeon?
I get the impression that maybe this cigar was rushed out the door in the sense that it didn't have enough time to rest or something, because, we're talking about flavor performance and burn performance. My burn performance could have set a textbook measure of how a cigar should burn, to the point where I couldn't knock the ash off. That's how well it was burning, and the draw was the same. It was perfect. But that being said, the first third for me was the best third, and so if you look at the first third and the last third, in terms of our scoring system, they're almost as far apart as you can get without getting into the negative scoring territory. And that really should never happen. Like, yeah, a lot of cigars you're going to drop down one level a lot of times going to the line in the final third, but this cigar literally went from the second highest score in the first third to the average score in the last third. So like every single third it declined in intensity and balance, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I thought the first third was really good. I thought the last third was really average. I'm really confused by the overall experience because it just didn't seem to be consistent at all. So I actually even put in my notes, I feel like the cigar needs to be sat down because it doesn't seem right to me. That's not what I've experienced typically with Davidoff, and certainly not with AVO. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, you mentioned balance. I felt the cigar really struggled with maintaining balance. There were times where like the notes of like charred cedar and mustiness were just really dominant in the profile, and it just didn't fit the cigar. I also had issues with the burn. The cigar went out in once in each of the thirds, so I had to do 3 relights on the cigar. So that's never a good thing. Probably not something I'm going to return to. The one nice thing about the cigar is that for a limited edition, it's priced fairly well. I mean, $15 is not extravagant, especially from the parent company and what their pricing is for some of their cigars. But I don't know. Maybe down the road the cigar becomes something. I just don't know. But it seemed odd based on this, the brand and what the cigar was supposed to be, that the experience just was not fitting at all. So it just not something I'm looking to return to. So let's get into the scores. We'll start at the top with John at 7.17. Jiunn, you were next at 5.45. Seth, you were third at 5.30, and I was right behind you at 5.20. So, John, 7.17.
Sounds right. If you're measuring it on flavor, it's a high 6s for me, and then it's flawless construction, flawless burn. So that's what takes it into the 7s. Of course, the story there, like I said, is inconsistency. So I would say it's one of the worst scoring 7s I've ever scored a 7 of, which makes no sense. But it's true. Like, if the cigar was how it was in the first third all the way through, it would have been a Cigar of the Year candidate.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Jiunn, 5.45.
I mean, that to me is that's for this one. It was below average in terms of the flavor experience. Really bad burn. So, I still think it has something to do with that. It was just not that good of a cigar. I mean, I think, yeah, and basically, if you see a 5 for me of any extent, that's me telling you don't smoke it.
All right, Seth, 5.3.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it just wasn't that impressive of a cigar. It was kind of some decent flavors, but it just didn't deliver, I think, what, it should. I think what a really good cigar does. So, yeah, it's just.
Yeah, my 5.2, it's kind of the same story. I mean, I thought the first third started out good, but then it just progressively went downhill each third, and then that burn was just not good, and it really took a toll on the cigar, I thought. So mine's where it's supposed to be. There's nothing wrong with how I scored it. Any other final thoughts from you guys on this one?
I think regular production AVO tastes better than this new stuff.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, I feel like AVO is getting away from their core competency in terms of flavor profile, because the first third to me tasted more like a core line Davidoff and less like an AVO. If that makes sense.
Wait, you thought the first third tasted more like a core line Davidoff?
Like a new age Davidoff, you mean?
Like a new age Davidoff. Yeah.
New age Davidoff. Yeah, I like what you're saying there. I like that.
I do as well.
I'm
That's
digging
why.
that. No,
that's why it ended.
I agree. It's not. I think it's getting away from. I think it's getting away from AVO. And there is. I think there is a separation between AVO and Davidoffs. But it's just, yeah. It's, I don't know. I mean, would you? All right, let me go back to this. Is this a good limited edition?
No, this is a poor representation of a limited edition.
Exactly.
I mean, you would rather have, if you're making a limited edition, for me, you'd rather have a limited edition that scores consistently through every single third. So I would rather have, if I'm blending, and I'm not a blender, but if I'm blending, I'd much rather have a cigar that goes good, 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 than very good, good, average, or good, average, subpar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to me, when you have that much variance between thirds, that does not leave the end smoker with a good experience in my
absolutely
experience. So
it's okay if like a limited is like different, I think, than like the core stuff. But I just think when you make a limited, you really have to do it right. And I'm not saying that other people do it right all the time, because I think there's plenty of people, Cuban and non-Cuban, who really F up limited editions.
Yeah.
But I just think this is like a major F up.
not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm not mad. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? We're set. All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. Plus, check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.